Hey, 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 what up, party people? What's going on? We are back. Second time's the charm, right? So thank you to Stephanie for cool. So it looks going well. I'd like to say Ella and hope you all can hear me. Stephanie is producing this. She's in the other room right now. She's on chat. She's Steph, so sound. With something now. Stephanie, the tech is working this out. You know if the volume's still cutting in and out. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you're having a life is I'm talking. I'm constantly talking. I got the producer in the back yelling at me now, screaming at me. Keep talking, keep talking. Hope you all are doing well. Software is thumbs down for me. I would give it a positive. Still cutting in and out stuff. Check, 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 check. If this isn't work, y'all, we'll probably come back on another time and software cut.
That's what it's
Can that
turned
be
the
it?
noise gate. I bet.
Yeah. All right. So let me try now. All right, everybody. So let me know if that works out better. Sorry about that. People send you software to use, and it doesn't always work. If it's is it definitely still cutting out? Is the same?
Give it a second.
Got to give it a second before it catches up. Hi, Jusher64.
Hi.
Whoa, that would be Stephanie's hand that almost hit me right in the face.
Hello.
That's awesome, Sean and Steph Strong shirt. Yeah, that's awesome.
We got ours. I just watched them.
Yeah, we just got ours. We ordered ours a long time ago. They just came in.
That's what it was. You're right. It was all the filters.
Yeah, that somebody put on.
All right.
So may I have my headphones again now?
You should be able to try them.
Hopefully that doesn't screw up Premiere. Let me know, everybody, if the sound is working.
That's perfect. Sounds great. I love how the rest.
Alrighty. Cool. So it's all working now. Cool. Let me know if anything's too loud or too quiet. I'm sorry for the quick technical glitches there, but thanks to Stephanie for running through all that and fixing it while I stayed online here. So it's good to see everybody here. I just wanted to share we get this question all the time. I just want to share with people how we edit our content. Just so you know, there's a million ways to skin a cat. So if you don't edit this way, it doesn't mean it's the wrong way or I'm doing the wrong way. This is just how I do my thing. But yeah, so let's just jump in real quick. I'll just walk you real quick through where I'm at right now. I have a rough sketch of the idea that I have for episode 1. So I've already got some things in my timeline that I just kind of, when the idea hits me, I just kind of throw things down on a timeline real rough. Don't really commit to much of anything. So as we said, this is my 4K timeline right here. We do everything in 4K 60. So that's how we shoot our content. And over here, I've got my my stock music library. This is where all those slamming tracks come from. This is where they all live. I organize them all by month of when I've picked them. So I remember everything by month because I pick out new tracks all the time. And of course, in these bins over here are also quite a few other things. I'll just take you all the way to the very back here. List this here. So I've got day 1 footage, day 2 footage, day 3, day 6 and 7, all of my Osmo footage, and of course my VO. Stephanie has recorded some wonderful little tracks for me. So I get to chop that up and add it to the story where I feel it needs. It will add some extra spice to the story. So that's how basically I organize all my content. So if we go to day 1 here, this is all. I usually scooch things over a little bit further. Something like this. Because I'm an old man and I'm blind. So then I just literally have all my clips here. I know I've gone through every single clip that is in this particular library. So I know all the shots that we've done, plus I lived it. So I have the memory of what we did. So as you can see, this very beginning of this bin is us packing at our house. And at the very end of this bin is us talking on the balcony. So that's all of day 1 that I'm going to kind of massage through and come up with episode 1. Please tell everyone what song. Sorry about the questions, guys. I don't see the chat as much as I would in a normal chat. Heather Forster asks, tell everyone what software you're using, please. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. It's very similar to HitFilm. Final Cut is slightly different, but not too different. So any of the editing principles you see me use here, you can certainly use on any other editing software. But we use Premiere Pro. Yes, and please feel free to ask questions. If I don't see the questions, Stephanie's there in chat, right there under Sean and Steph. She will answer what I don't. I'm sorry, I need to start looking up and over towards the chat while I'm editing. So cool, yeah. All right. So yeah, all right. So that's where I'm at so far. So I think that the first thing I would like to do is just show you my real quick rough sketch. What I do is I usually throw a ton of just random stuff in the timeline and see what works. I don't usually work linearly. I don't work from the front to the back. Sometimes I'll have an idea about a little section and I'll just work on it over here and then work on something else over here. And that's how I do things. But right now, here's where we're at so far with our edit. I hope this will play back for you.
Hi friends, Sean and Steph here. Over the last 3 seasons, we've spent more than 180 days at sea and have traveled all over the world. And this week is a real treat. A week of amazing food, fantastic drinks, unrivaled service, and all the fun you can imagine in the yacht club on board the spectacular MSC Seaside. But before we board, we have to make our way from Orlando to Miami. It's time to add those ship tags and pack it on up. On this trip, we are driving, and even though it was a bit soggy at times, you can't dampen our spirit because we can't wait to see the seaside. And look, oh my gosh, there they are! We always start getting butterflies when the ships come into view. It's so exciting driving through the Port Miami tunnel because when you pop out on the other side, the ships are right in front of you. Checking into the yacht club is really easy. There is a tent set up outside the terminal. You walk up, tell the attendant your stateroom number, fill out a few forms, and then they even guide you through a private security line. This is luxury cruising at its finest. Once through security, we were taken to the yacht club waiting area.
All right, we've got a lot of really great questions, and that's almost where I'm at in the timeline. I've got a few more cuts here, but it's all very rough, and just wow, there's just a lot of really great comments. First and foremost, thank you, Stephanie. Remember, guys, if you have a question, feel free to ask. Stephanie is under the Sean and Steph account. She's typing. The music that we use is Epidemic Sound. I am an epidemic freak. What I've done, and I've shared this on our blog post, so if you want to follow along, you can. I don't know how much of the screen you can see, but this right here is my Cruising with Sean and Steph Spotify playlist, and it's all epidemic tracks. And every morning when I'm working out or if I'm in the shower, you know, praying for death because chemotherapy is just kicking my butt or whatever it is, every single day, no joke, every single day I listen to every single one of these tracks and I audition every single track. And if I like a track for a specific episode or a thought or an idea, I just highlight the track, of course. Highlight the track like so, and then I just screen capture it. So if I'm working out, I don't write it down or anything. I just screen capture it real quick, and then I go back later and I find that track in my list. So that's what I do with the music. I listen to music all day long, all day, every day. Music for me is the most important aspect. And I really have found music that resonates with my storytelling and and how I like to tell stories through Epidemic. There's some other great sites too. There's like Artlist. There's a bunch of other places that sell music. Ella, you have a good question saying that you notice other people like Scott Singer doing VOs. We've done VOs in the past. If you watched our Cruising with Sean and Steph episode 1 and 2, we started doing that. This is just a natural progression for what we want to do. Sometimes you don't get the opportunity to say what you want to say in the field, or sometimes there's more information that you want to add. We like to mix and match. I always like to show Steph in the environment as much as possible, but we found that the more VO that we do, the more wider appealing it is. So we're going to do a mixture of both. You notice that Karen and Nate are doing that a little bit more now. And we're just experimenting. If it doesn't work, we'll definitely go back. But Stephanie and I always believe in the Disney side of things. We both work for Disney, and they believe in plussing things. So every single episode we do, we sit down and we watch it, and we give ourselves notes, and we try to see how can we do this better next time. So that's the thought process behind why we're doing VOs on this particular episode. Jusher, you asked how long does it take from start to finish to complete one day, 3 to 5 hours. Unless it's a really quick episode, it's closer to 8 to 12 hours for my episodes. I've got we do an average of 4 terabytes for a 7 to 8 day trip. So whatever that divides into per day, that's the amount of footage we're going through every single day. So no, it takes me probably a full day to edit. If I get the opportunity to dedicate a full 8 hours, I do, but it's usually split up amongst a couple days because I don't have 8 hours straight. Let's see what else. What other questions I can answer here? Do you ever get bored of constantly editing and reviewing videos and clips? Here's the way to avoid boredom: go to something else. So while we're here in this timeline, right? This looks like, oh my gosh, I've got to go from here all the way to over here. There's so much blank space. I don't want to do this. So you just find a different section. Let's find something.
Seaside. This ship is so big and beautiful.
So Stephanie's talking about whatever here, so I'll just start working on it. I'll start propagating. I'm just pretending right now. So I'll just bring a clip here, and maybe bring a clip here, and then just start playing over in this section, so I don't get bored with that section at all. Another fun fact is when you start getting too bored with editing, like if it becomes so monotonous. What Stephanie and I do is we rebuild our offices. We move. She's literally just like, okay, and like the next day our office will be completely in a different room or something. So, but yeah, that's how we roll. Does Sean have a length in mind before he starts, or does it just come out the way it does depending on the day? I try to keep our episodes around television length. I like to cut your average TV show is about 22 to 24 minutes depending upon the network. I like to keep things under a half an hour if possible. Ship tours and stuff like that, special episodes go past that. Sometimes they're short. Sometimes they're only 12 to 15 minutes. We usually get complaints when they're that short. So it just really depends on how much was shot that day and what the message of that day is. Like episode 1 of Seaside is actually going to be day 1 and day 2 because it's just nothing but yacht club life. So we felt like doing 2 yacht club episodes back to back was not necessary. So we're just going to make one condensed, better episode 1. The thing I find hardest, Emma says, the thing I find hardest about the editing is that I always want to keep watching the bit I've just edited rather than do the next bit. It's okay. You should keep watching it over and over and over and over again. You really should. And just keep playing it in your head. I can't tell you how many times. You should ask Stephanie how many times she hears like, I am the winner or whatever. Just trillions of times over. See if there's any other questions here. Yeah, I certainly don't like to bloat the video. Stephanie's correct. I try to keep it as tight as possible. Sometimes people ask us to extend things. I try to keep it as entertaining as possible. Stephanie and I work for a lot of people, including producers of shows that you've seen, and we try to, and they watch our stuff, so we try to be cognizant of that. Oh, thank you, Ella. We're definitely not changing the vlogs. We're just tweaking them just a little bit. There's always going to be Stephanie talking on camera. It's just going to be a little bit more VO. The thing is, Stephanie is really good at riffing in person, but she tends to go to her amazings a lot. And sometimes I have to give her an amazingectomy. So with the VO, we can control that. So I love Stephanie to death, but a lot of times, because it's a long day and she's got to talk about every single item on every single ship, sometimes she resorts to, what more can you ask for? Or it's amazing. And while that's funny and cute, sometimes you want a little bit more information than that. And so that's why VO works out really well. Heather, thank you. That's the idea. That's awesome that you don't watch the clock. When people start complaining about that, that's when we start to worry about that. Okay, so anyway, so like we were talking about VOs a lot. I'll just show you here real quick. Another quick tip that I do. Some people get really frustrated with VO. We get this email quite a bit. When Stephanie records her VO for me, it comes in as one WAV file like this, one big long file. And so
let's get moving and get ready to do that than to grab a.
So there's roughly, if you look right here, there's roughly 8 minutes of her talking, right? And it's like, oh man, I don't want to have to sit through 8 minutes, blah, blah, blah. So the very first thing you do when you lay down VO like this, and remember, if just because there's 8 minutes of VO doesn't mean you're going to have an 8-minute video. You should space things out, add spaces where she's not talking, things like that. But the one way that I keep myself sane is I go through and I chop. I'm going to zoom in here real quick. Instead of making it one long VO clip, I chop in between every breath, in between every time she stops talking, I chop. So then I can remove these like so, and then I can move the VO around accordingly. So that's what I do before I do anything else. As you can see, there's these giant chunks of holes where there's no VO. And so that's how I chop that up. So we get that question a lot. It's so frustrating, constantly cutting over here and then dragging it. I would never do that. I would drag the whole VO and then chop it up and then remove everything in the timeline that you don't want. That's just how I work. Oh yes, sorry. VO stands for voiceover. I apologize. Amazingectomy. Anyway, let's get back to, if you have any other questions, let me know, and I'll just keep chopping away. And if you have something, let me know. I need to have some kind of a bell or an electric shock when Stephanie needs to tell me something. Like, it just zaps me in the legs. Ow. That's a smart move, clapping. That way you can look at the waveform. Emma says she does a clap after every successful section of VO, so she knows where to cut out all the rubbish attempts. That's great. That way you can just look for the spike in the waveform and choppy chop. That's cool. Love that. All right. So like I showed you before when I was scrubbing through, we've started off with who we are. Welcome back. This is a quick overview. We're now packing our bags, blah, 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 driving through Miami, and here's where we left off.
Into the yacht club is really easy. There is a tent set up outside the terminal. You walk up, tell the attendant your stateroom number, fill out a few forms, and then they even guide you through a private security line. This is luxury cruising at its finest. Once through security, we were taken to the yacht club waiting area.
See, all this is cool, and this is a great way to space out, right? But like, how do I know? When I say space out, I mean like the timing. This is a great bit of timing. But how do I know when to edit this? How do I know if the shot's too long? I don't have any frame of reference, and that's because I haven't dropped in a track yet. So that's the next thing we do is once I get a pretty decent size chunk of video going that doesn't have any music. If you scroll down here, you notice I don't have any music going on right now. So I need to find a decent track to cover this point of information where Stephanie's talking about getting onto the ship. So then all I do is I just go to my bins. Normally I have a lot more space to work with, but because I'm broadcasting, I have to shrink my screen down. So, scusa. So I go to my music bin here. See what's going on. See, I'm just double checking the chat here. Oh, sorry to see you go, Ems. Thank you for dropping by, though. You're awesome. So normally, like I said, I normally have an idea of the tracks that I'm going to use, but because we're doing this live stream, I didn't prepare for that. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through, and when I don't have an idea, I can just kind of, I don't know how loud this stuff's going to come in. I hope it's not going to come in crazy loud. But I typically audition tracks, and I never audition from the beginning of the track. I always go somewhere in the middle to see where, you know, where the jumping happens. Boy, and that really seems like it's coming in loud. If it is, let me know, and I will drop the audio. I love this track. I don't ever get to use this track very often because it was used heavily in the go-kart racing, but every time I hear this track, all I can think of is Stephanie trying to cheat at go-karts. And see, and she doesn't have a mic, right now, so she can't argue with me about that. I love it. All right, anyway, back to finding the tracks. You know what? That could work. So let's see if that would work. Oh, Steph totally cheats. Don't get it twisted. Let's just say that you were technically only allowed to pass in like one of two places, and Stephanie found other places to pass. That's all I'm saying.
Checking into the
All right, let's just find something like this.
Checking into the yacht club is really easy.
I think I'll slip that a little bit.
Checking into the yacht club is really easy. Checking into the yacht club is really easy. There's a tent set up. Checking into the yacht club is really easy. There is a tent set up outside the terminal. Set up outside the terminal. You walk up, tell the attendant your stateroom. The attendant your stateroom. Tell the attendant your stateroom number. Your stateroom. Tell the attendant your stateroom number. Fill out a few forms, and then they even guide. Fill out a few forms, and then they even guide. You through a private security line. This is luxury cruising at its finest. Once through security. At its finest. Checking into the yacht club is really easy. There is a tent set up outside the terminal. You walk up, tell the attendant your stateroom number, fill out a few forms, and then they even guide you through a private security line. This is luxury cruising at its finest. Once through security, we were taken to...
Okay, so I don't know if you noticed what I did there, but I had a rough edit there already where it was not timed to anything. And so I knew based on what Stephanie was saying in her VO, the kinds of video that I wanted to see, but the timing was irrelevant. And so then once I found a track that worked for me, I dropped the track in, made sure the track was where I wanted it to be, and then I was able to tighten up the edits. And as you notice, there's only a few frames in either direction where the edits were either slightly too short or too long, and boom, now you've got edits hitting on the beat, which is how I prefer to edit, and it works well with the visuals. So I'll show you that one more time. And that's just basically how I edit.
Checking into the yacht club is really easy. There is a tent set up outside the terminal. You walk up, tell the attendant your stateroom number, fill out a few forms, and then they even guide you through a private security line. This is luxury cruising at its finest. Once through security, we were taken to the yacht club waiting area.
And right there's that lull in the music, and there's a lull in between what Stephanie says. So I think right now, like, just the
Once through security,
the chef in me wants to just nip a little bit. It's just too much. Sometimes I get like that little siren that used to go off on our live stream. Sometimes that goes off in my head like cut.
Once through security.
Yeah, see.
At its finest.
Right there. That's what I'm feeling. That is what I am feeling.
Once through security, we were taken to the yacht club waiting area.
So anyway, this is exactly how I edit. And as you can see right here, there's some ignorant amount of clips on top of each other. That's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I just literally throw ideas out. When I have an idea of something I like to look at, I just literally throw it in the timeline. I get really sloppy until I don't. So it's like over here to the right, Messville. This is just my slop. Over here to the left is, coming closer to what I would call a final product. So that's how I work. And like I said, the only reason I'm working linearly right now from front to back is for this tutorial. Normally I get really bored really quickly, or I'm like, let's get on the ship already. I get anxious, and I'll just go zoop and go all the way over here somewhere else into the world of the edit, and just start working.
No matter what type
of let's see. Ella says, how do you know what to record when you do VO? How do you plan and prepare for it? That's a good question. What we typically do, just like how we shoot, we shoot more than we use, and we try to record more than we need. So what will happen is when it comes time for the VO, I'll go through every single clip that we shot for whatever day we're talking about. In this case, we're talking about day 1 and day 2 of MSC Seaside. So I have to save. One thing about Adobe Premiere is it's crazy. And so once I've gone through every clip, what I do is I go on Google Docs and I write bullet points of every single topic that we could potentially talk about. And then if I have an idea of a sentence or anything, I'll write it in. But from that point forward, it's usually Stephanie taking it because it's her voice. Excuse me, she's the one talking. So while I can sort of write in Stephanie's voice, often when I write a paragraph for her, she rewrites it in her own voice. So what I'll do is I'll give her bullet points, and then she'll go through and write the whole script. And that takes, a couple of hours. She's actually really good at banging that out. And then it takes her a little bit to record it. And then I have another asset. And like I said before, I don't rely on the VO. We could cut this whole episode without any VO, like you've seen in the past. But we thought about, now that we're being approached by all these bigger companies asking us to do more and bigger things, we thought, well, what would happen if we took an opportunity like the Seaside, which we've already done, and what if we experiment with doing something slightly different? Because we've already done this ship. We've already got a ship tour. We've already got vlogs on this very ship. So this, in my mind, was the perfect opportunity to experiment and see what happens next. Seanism, yeah. Well, that's truly how I work. I literally, some of my fellow editors, they work very linearly, but I usually will have tons of slop over here on this side and something I'm ready to show a client on this side. I even throw side clips over here just while I'm thinking. Like if something catches my eye, I'll just throw it somewhere. That's just how I work. Recording. Someone's asking, Cindy, asking about recording. We do all of our recording for our VO in Audition because we have the entire Creative Cloud library. So you can record audio in Premiere. We just don't. We do the VO recording in Audition. And by we, I mean Stephanie. She does all that by herself. We literally only use Audition to basically get the levels and hit record. That's basically it. All right, so if there's no other questions, I'm just going to kind of keep moving forward here. Thank you all so much for joining us. This is the first time we've ever kind of shared like how we do what we do. I was thinking about either doing this or like a speed edit where I just edit the whole thing and just play it back at like 1600, but Stephanie thought somebody out there would like to know how we do what we do.
Once through security, we were taken to the yacht club waiting area.
Oh, and for those of you who were in our live stream yesterday asking us what is B-roll, I'll show you real quick here. If we go into this is my DJI Osmo bin. I shoot, in addition to all the GH5 footage that either I shoot or Stephanie shoots, as you can see right here. Stephanie holds the camera the majority of the time. She does a lot of the shooting. When she's not, though, I'm shooting on the Pocket Osmo or one of our many other camera systems, and this is B-roll. Anything that doesn't involve Stephanie directly is B-roll. So we just have all this random, footage that you cut away to. So anyway.
Yacht club waiting area. get our ship cars, but before we get our cars, it's time for
And of course, right there, Stephanie says ship snacks. So you got to show it.
Here we will get our ship cars, but before we get our cars, it's time for some ship snacks.
What?
So many choices. I'll take one of everything, please. Why not? Cheers to the best week ever.
And when it comes to Sean and Steph cheer shots, there's only two places you will ever hear the downbeat. Where you're either going to hear the beat when the glass is hit, or the beat to get out of the shot. And that's how we always try to do it. That's why it's in and it's out. I know people make fun of us. Captain Obvious made the funniest commercial about boomeranging your drinks. But yeah, that's the classic Sean and Steph cheer shots.
One of everything, please. Why not? Cheers to the best week ever.
So that's how we cut those.
Week ever. How awesome is this lounge? Never has waiting been so cool.
And let's see. So probably going to want a little bit more footage because Stephanie's still talking. And I like what she's saying. So merge in some footage, y'all.
So many choices. I'll take one of everything, please.
And because that's a tighter shot, I'm going to go from wide to tight.
It's time for some ship snacks. So many choices. I'll take one of everything, please. Why? I'll take one of everything, please. Why not? Cheers to the best week ever. To the best week ever. How awesome is this lounge? How awesome is this lounge? Never has waiting been so cool.
Let's see, as I'm scrubbing through the timeline and hitting save, I'm looking at the chat here. Oh, when it comes to our transitions, I'll show y'all something fun. The transitions that we use, we created just because, no particular reason. We created them for our company that we use. But so I created a bunch of stuff. So if you go to effects, if this is rampant stuff, scroll down here. It says rampant Premiere Essentials. I scroll down here, go down to my transitions. And let's just do a transition in. I created all these. So when you see all these things from like our ship tours and whatnot, this is all a product that we created. So I'll just choose this one, slide in from left, and I drag it onto the clip, and I just roll it back.
Lounge seating and a piano right in the
slide
middle.
in from left, see? So there you go. Those are the transitions that we created because I got tired of hand animating that stuff every single time I wanted to transition. So we made our own set just for our vlogging. So if you go to the Rampant Design Tools website and you buy Premiere Essentials, that basically was designed for Sean and Steph IRL. Can you talk about how and why you're expanding the timeline for those who haven't edited before? Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Some of the things I do are just second nature. So by all means, please, Heather, that's a great point. Please ask me to slow down, speed up, whatever. So you have multiple ways of zooming in your timeline. You can make your initial layers large like so you can see a visual representation of your clips. And sometimes people like that. I don't work that way. But the bottom side is zooming out and in to the timeline, and everything's based on right here. This is your CTI, or your current time indicators, where you are in the timeline. And the reason why you'll zoom out is so you can go to a different location. Like I just want to go over here maybe, or you want to zoom in to get a really refined edit. Sometimes people edit too wide and it turns out you're a couple frames off, and that's why you're wondering like, wow, I can't ever seem to really get my edits to work, right? So that's another quick tip. Another tip too that I'm not embarrassed to say this at all, and there are times I do this, especially when I'm editing music videos. But if you're having trouble finding the beat or maintaining the beat in your edits, and you're looking for a quick way to always have your beat, do this. Check this out. I'm just gonna find some random location on a timeline. Watch this. Hit spacebar for play.
Orlando to Miami. It's time to add those.
Hold on, sorry, Steph, I gotta mute you for a second. All right, muting Steph. Every time you hit the snare drum or the kick drum, hit M for mark. And now you've got all these markers. So now you know where to visually represent. Now you can zoom in and you can be like, okay, cool. I can, if I just have a piece of video here, let me drag an extra piece of video over here. I have a piece of video here where all this stuff is happening. It's like, look, I can cut here, I can cut here, I can cut here, I can cut here, and it's all on the beat. So that's a quick way to give yourself a reference for editing on the beat. We get that question a lot. The other way to do it, if you're more of a scientific person, is to go down to where the music is, which is down here, and you get real close, and expand this here, and you can actually read the edit points on the waveforms, like so. See, boom, boom, boom. I would edit on any of these points here. Boom, clap, boom, clap, boom, clap. See? So there you go. So yeah, that's just a real quick tip about editing music and editing to music. So if you have any other questions, let me know. That was a great question, Heather. I'm going to go back to just kind of scooching around the edit here. How did we learn to do all this stuff? For editing side of things, Stephanie and I are 100% self-taught. There's a couple of people in our lives that kind of taught us things as we moved on in our careers. But I am a visual effects and motion graphics artist. I'm not an editor. For editing, I'm self-taught. I ended up working on a bunch of music videos, and while I was doing the visual effects for those videos, I would hang out with the editors and learn every single thing, every single trick. A lot of times they just let me sit in their bay and just keep quiet, and I would just take notes after notes after notes. So I basically, every artist I ever met, every editor I ever met, I just took what they knew and put it in my bag, just put it in my bag of tricks. And then YouTube came around and learned a lot from that. But Stephanie and I, when it comes to editing video and shooting video, we're 100% self-taught. We've worked in video production forever, and worked with shooters forever, but didn't go to school for this particular thing. So, and we learn every time. Every time we come back, we're like, oh, I wish we had done this, or I wish we would have said that. We really do have basically post-production meetings going, how could we have possibly told this story better or more, or do you think there was a thing we could have told this time around, or man, I really wish we could have done X, Y, or Z. Or we're pretty critical of how we tell our stories and what we want to do next time. And this all spawned from us doing vacation videos. If you dig real deep into the Sean and Stuff YouTube, you can find like our original like Disney DVC vacation videos. Instead of having a big wedding, Stephanie and I eloped and we bought a Disney Vacation Club membership as a wedding gift. So we used to do a lot of DVC vacation trips and stuff like that. And even our very first cruise and stuff, we used to just do like big 3-minute, 5-minute montages. And that's how we kind of got interested in editing. And then once we realized we wanted to tell a whole story and learn about gear and stuff, it just kind of all snowballed from there. But people like Ben and David and Emma, they're all huge inspirations to us. I think we all kind of, a rising tide basically lifts all boats. All of our fellow creators that we hang out with, including other ones that aren't in this circle, like a good friend of mine is Ryan Connolly. He runs Film Riot, and I think right now he's got over 2 million subs. I mean, the dude's incredible. So he's taught us a lot. A lot of friends have taught us a lot. Why did you switch from HitFilm Express to Adobe Premiere? I never used HitFilm on a professional level. I've always used Premiere. We used HitFilm. Stephanie used HitFilm in our training because it was free, and we always love to show off what you can do with free software. And to be honest, HitFilm is an amazing piece of software, especially because it's free. But even if you had to pay $200 for it, it's a fantastic app. How do you pull out bloopers? That's a very good question. So like right here, when you see this like grouping right here, every time I have a blooper, I'll cut it and I'll throw it either really extreme left in my timeline or really extreme right, like something like 20 minutes later, and eventually you'll have this sloppy pile right over here of all the bloopers, and then I'll put them together and I put a beep and a slate in between each shot. Cool, yeah, Stephanie's on the ball over there. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer them, or Stephanie can answer them as well. Thank you all for joining us. This is a first for us, so if it's boring or if not helpful or whatever, let me know and we'll change it up. But if something's working, let me know as well. But we just thought, hey, we're going to be editing this episode today anyway. I'm finally feeling good enough to, be halfway human today. So I thought, well, it'd be really cool to share. Actually, it was really Stephanie's idea to share. Got to give credit to her.
So now it's time to go on the ship.
Let's go.
So this would be a natural place for a Sean and Steph transition. And for those of you who ask, yes, I sing these songs in my head all day long. The ones for Ship Tour Day are the best, the bloopers. Stephanie's hilarious. And she takes her job very seriously, so sometimes the frustration's funny today, but it's even funnier because I know that in that moment she was really, really upset and frustrated. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, the process really is, I mean, some people are out there like, I can do a day in 3 hours or whatever. It's really not about speed. It's really about telling the story. So sometimes the story comes together really quickly because we only did like breakfast. We did one thing during the day, then we did dinner and a show and we went to bed, right? If that's all we did in that in particular, like a sea day or whatever, those stories are easy to tell because it's only like 6 or 8 short stories. That's all what we do. It's a quilt. What we do is a series of unrelated stories, the only relation being that we're on a ship, right? So the idea is to take this process and make it as visually interesting as possible because while we all watch TV for a living, we all watch TV, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. I don't want YouTube to be a step down. Our goal is to be on par with what you watch on TV, so you'll watch the whole thing, so you'll be entertained, so you'll share it with your friends, so people will like it. That's the goal. But yeah, the process is long. Do you ever plan to make a whole episode of just bloopers and outtakes? We've done like bloopers of just one thing. We've released the bloopers of just Symphony. I don't know if we would do an entire season's worth of bloopers. We might. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's something we could do. It's maintaining this library. I wish I could grab this camera and show you all the hard drives and stuff it takes to maintain and keep all this stuff live. We shot 4 terabytes for Seaside, but then convert it to ProRes. It's closer to about 14 to 16 terabytes. So there's the original 4 plus the new 16. That's 20 terabytes amongst all these drives. It's fun. Let's see. And yes, it's all about the tacos. I don't know who mentioned tacos, but yes. Yeah, Heather, there's nothing wrong with ever getting a point to where you're happy with the video and then walking away and then evaluating it. That's the sign of a good edit, is that you just have to keep going back and keep. It's like working with clay. There's always something you can massage. There's always something you can tweak a little bit.
The yacht club. The yacht.
For people asking about footage, right here, I don't know what you can see or not. This is a 2 terabyte SSD drive. As you can see, this is the reason why I travel. First of all, no moving parts. So when the TSA decides to get frisky and, play badminton and handball with my stuff, I don't have to typically worry about the drives. So this is a 2 terabyte drive. This will hold roughly half of a 1-week trip. So we have multiples of these. And then the laptop I have also has an internal SSD drive as well. But this is what we travel with. And then we've got a handful of memory cards, like so. We've got a handful of these that we shoot on. But everything gets dumped to SSDs. And when we're all said and done, we have typically about 4 terabytes. It's usually a little bit more. It all depends on how many excursions we went on and stuff like that.
The yacht club true luxury from start to finish. Really it is.
Check-in was super simple.
So
Security was what, 30 seconds maybe?
So your butler walks you through from you put your bags down and they walk you through security. It's so easy and so nice. We're here in the we're here in the Yacht Club Lounge waiting to go on the ship. We got our wristbands ready to go. We got our ship cards. I mean, we just had to say how easy it is and how lucky this is.
Had some champers.
So amazing.
So now it's time to go on the ship.
Let's go.
Go on the ship.
Let's go.
Oh, sure. So Heather just asked, how do we manipulate volume? So as you just saw right here, we're going from a VO-based cut where Steph's talking. Like, oh wait, she's not talking. Haha. Sorry, Steph. Now she's back to talking.
How awesome is this lounge? Never has waiting been so cool.
What happened to your audio?
Start to finish.
Just didn't render. Okay.
The Yacht Club is true.
So all I do there is I do two things. It's basically two keyframes essentially. So right here is my music, right? I'll double click on my music and then I'll go to the effects controls. And right up here you can see two keyframes. So right around here where the transition starts, I made a keyframe. I just made a quick keyframe right here and made it at the volume that I was already at. And then I went here to the end and then I made it -30. So the music was still slightly going right behind Steph. And then I just did a force fade to get rid of the music altogether.
The Yacht Club is true luxury.
You can decide just to keep it running behind her,
Start to finish.
but I thought that competed a lot with the background noise that's already there. So
The Yacht Club is true
So that's why I did that. And then, of course, on the flip side, when you're dealing with the audio of Stephanie, she's coming from a very noisy area, so I just added a quick fade up on her audio.
The Yacht Club is true luxury.
And so between the two, you've got the music fading down while she's fading up.
The Yacht Club is true luxury from start to finish. Really it is.
Check-in was super simple.
So
Security was what, 30 seconds maybe?
So your butler walks you through from you.
Oh, and to answer your question about Symphony, Symphony was closer to 6 to 8 terabytes. I got nervous. That was the first time that and Europe were the only two times that we came this close to running out of footage. I ended up having to get creative with using my internal laptop's hard drives in order to maintain everything. It was getting nerve-wracking. I was getting this close to just buying, going to the nearest store and buying a bunch of these SSD cards and just dumping to those, but I'm glad I didn't have to do that. So anyway, we're starting to get close to getting on the ship here.
Checking into the yacht club is really easy. There is a tent set up outside the terminal. You walk up, tell the attendant your stateroom number, fill out a few forms, and then they even guide you through a private security line. This is luxury cruising at its finest. Once through security, we were taken to the yacht club waiting area. Here we will get our ship cards, but before we get our cards, it's time for some ship snacks. So many choices. I'll take one of everything, please. Why not? Cheers to the best week ever. How awesome is this lounge? Never has waiting been so cool.
And of course, because I'm running out of RAM here, I have to...
The yacht club
There we
is
go.
true luxury from start to finish. Really it is.
Check-in was super simple.
So
Security was what, 30 seconds maybe?
So your butler walks you through. Put your bags down and
So I'm losing the audio there. As you can see, it's unrendered. I'm losing the audio there because my machine's running out of resources because of everything that's going on. You've got this, and you've got YouTube, and you've got the other YouTube software that we're running. So, but anyway, it's working, so I'm not going to complain. But I don't know if I'll ever do a motion graphics tutorial this way, not with as much pressure as on the machine right this second. But anyway, so now that you've seen this section, so now let's move on. Let's start building the Stephanie going onto the ship.
let's go.
Which, of course, getting on the ship needs some happy, fun music, right? We need to be excited. We're getting on the ship. Stephanie's like, look at me, I'm so excited. That's the Steph happy face, laser beams. So you have to have music that's equivalent to Stephanie's excitement. So let's go find some Steph exciting music real quick. Love that track, but we've already used it. That could work right here. That's where I'll start it. And if you notice, I never start tracks at the beginning. Please, 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 if there's one piece of wisdom I can pass on to you, if you have a 3-minute song, that does not mean you have a 3-minute video. The one has nothing to do with the other. Video length, audio length, everything is manipulatable, so make it the best it possibly can. It doesn't necessarily have to be the whole track. And that's what I always use, little tiny slivers of these tracks, which a lot of people are like, I can't find the song you're looking for. It's like, well, just get past the first 8 seconds and it will start sounding like the track that I was using. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. And of course, so now, just like I was talking about before, you hear those nice good cuts, right? You hear 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all brilliant cutting points. So take 2s, take 4s, take whatever it takes to get the specific shot through the story. But so when it comes time to cutting a montage, it's that simple. Just 2s and 4s, baby. That's 2s and 4s. Bye, Heather. It was really great to see you. And thanks for the smooth day tomorrow. Yeah, we're hoping for a smooth day tomorrow as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for everyone for joining us. I hope this is useful to somebody. That was crazy creepy. Awesome. Someone just subscribed and we got a zombie jumping across the screen. That was cool. That was pretty wild. Am I the only one who saw that? Well, thank you for the subscription. Good question, Cindy, about slow motion. No, we do everything in camera. So the reason why we shoot on the big monster GH5, and I wish I had one here with me. I do have one. So if you watch YouTubers like Kara and Nate, you'll notice they do not use a big old camera like this typically. I believe they've had a GH5 in the past, but now they use the Sony, which is like... The reason why we use this camera is because it shoots 4K 60. So we shoot every shot. 100% of the shots are shot in 4K at 60 frames per second. And then if I need to change anything, if I need to get real time, like if Stephanie's speaking, I just change the speed. And I'll show you how that's done over here. If you go to any of these clips in your timeline or in your bin, you go right click and you go modify, interpret footage. You can see right here, there are 2 sets of numbers. So everything I shoot is at 59.94 or what's known as 4K 60 right there. And then we assume this rate is 2997. So that means half speed. So this particular shot is slow motion because I'm doing it at 30 instead of 60. And that's how you get the slow motion. See? But if I take that same shot and I go back to modify, interpret footage, and I go back to the native 60 frames per second, and I hit the... See? Real time.
I got it.
See? And then go back 2997. See, nice and slow-mo. Oh, I'm glad people are liking this. I'm not sure. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if Peter, no, that's the one thing that's the one thing we're trying to avoid here. Editing is not complicated. It's literally just a few it's the same steps over and over and over again. It's not complicated. And if you have an idea of what the story it is that you want to tell, life is a lot easier. If you've got just a bunch of footage and you're not really sure where to go with it, the only thing you're adding is time to figure out what clips work, time to figure out what story you're going to tell. But no, it's not complicated. It's just the same 5 or 6 steps over and over and over again. Jackie, I'm going to let Stephanie answer that question real quick, but we have our own company called Rampant Design Tools, which is a visual effects and motion graphics company. We also do live streams and stuff. We do catering to businesses. Like if you have a business and you want video for your social presence or just for your company in general, and you don't even know where to start, we can come in and we help out people. Stephanie's taught at Apple. Stephanie's taught at some like really great places. We presented to ABC. That was huge. And so we make software. It's called Rampant Design Tools, and we make it for every editor out there, including Premiere. And then we started doing daily vlogging about 3 or 4 years ago when we wanted to start a family. We were getting older and we weren't able to have kids, and so Stephanie wanted to document our journey of having a family. And when that didn't work out, we went on a cruise and we documented that, and that kind of took off, and that's how we got into becoming cruise vloggers. So that's basically how it is. And then from every video we've done since, we've just wanted to keep telling more and more stories. All right, so
now it's time to go on the ship.
Let's go.
all right, so this clip's too long, so let's do one of these numbers, trim that, slip that back, see how that feels.
But the fun hasn't even started yet. Let's get moving and get our...
I still have a lot of Steph VO that I have to accomplish as well here, so I'll just scooch that on back just a little bit so I can get the vibe here going.
Had some champers.
So amazing.
So now it's time to go on the ship.
Let's go.
It's time to go on the ship.
Let's go.
This particular track is called Call My Name from the artist Blaker, Blaeker. If you're ever interested in and maybe Steph can find the URL and post it, but if we do have a blog post listing all of the tracks that we use. I have, like I said earlier, I am a music freak. Music is my life. and I was a music supervisor way back in the day for many productions. And right here is, hopefully this is my Cruising with Sean and Steph Spotify playlist. And so every time a track makes it into an edit, I add it to this playlist. All right, back to it. All right, so we're starting to get closer to the ship, and there's some VO here. Let's see what this VO has to say.
But the fun hasn't even started yet. Let's get moving and get ourselves on the seaside.
Okay, that can go anywhere.
Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of fun. Next stop, the Yacht Club. We're escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge.
All right, so these are not extraneous, but these are just additional sound bites, which...
But the fun hasn't even started yet. Let's get moving and get ourselves on the seaside. Here we go, up the gangway. Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of fun. Next stop, the Yacht Club.
I like having Stephanie as our technical director. It's not cool that she's not here. Normally I can just be like, yo, Steph. She's like, because this is her desk right here, everybody. Look, it's Stephanie's desk, but she's not there. She's actually on our live set, which is through this wall right here. One of these days we're just going to knock out this wall and make one big production environment. But Stephanie's back there on our live set. Cool. All right. That's a good question, Peter. So if a music clip isn't long enough, you can just stretch it out to the length that you want. No, you can't just stretch. I'm not familiar with any audio apps that just stretch it out. But what you can do is take it to Audition and do something called remix, and then tell it how long you want it to go, and it will re-edit your song for you. Or you can go in onto your tracks, and if you find a section, you can extend by finding bars and beats that are whole that you can just like copy and paste and basically loop. And then, of course, there are some sites that give you loops as well where you can extend and build your own track. But I'm not familiar with any apps that automatically extend. Those are the only options. You can manually edit your audio and extend it, or run it through Audition and use Remix, or buy loops and extend it that way. Oh, hey, I got permission from Steph to knock out the wall. So Boss Lady says, let's do it. All right. So back to the edit here.
Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of fun. Next stop, the Yacht Club. were escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge. We were escorted to We were escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge. We were escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge. We were escorted to the Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of fun. Next stop, the Yacht Club. We were escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge.
On the ship.
Let's go! But the fun hasn't even started yet. Let's get moving and get ourselves on the seaside. But the fun hasn't even started yet. Let's get moving and get ourselves on the seaside. Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of fun. Next stop, the Yacht Club. Let's get moving and get ourselves on the Seaside. Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of fun. Next stop, the Yacht Club.
So excited.
We're on board.
We're here. Let's keep going.
This top sail lounge is next.
So excited.
We're on board.
We're here. Let's keep going. So excited.
We're on board.
We're here. Let's keep going.
This top sail lounge is next.
Yacht Club We were escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge. Talk about spectacular. There is a beautiful bar area, plenty of lounge seating, and a piano right in the middle. I bet that piano is going to be really nice at night before dinner. Escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge.
Yeah, sorry, Peter. Normally they're a lot faster, but I've been battling a serious cancer, so normally this would be done by now. I normally knock out no less than 1 to 2 a week. When based on my work schedule, I work nights and weekends on this stuff, but lately it's just been brutal. So normally it would be done quicker. But yeah, there is a lot of it. We put a lot more effort into our vlogs than maybe we should, but it's just the thing that it's something that we're so passionate about that we end up watching this stuff. Like when I was in the hospital, we ended up watching a lot of episodes together just because it was a fun memory. So, but yeah, it is, it's worth I don't regret, I hate using the word work because I really, really love doing this. If this could somehow be my full-time job, I would love every second of it. I really, truly love telling stories. Steph is just the most, she's my everything. So I love sharing her with the world because she's so funny and so goofy and just so awesome, full of life that it's almost criminal for me to hold that just to myself, you know? So I'm gonna take a quick Gatorade break here. Oh no, I know. I'm just saying that normally they'd be faster. I beat myself up for. You can ask Steph. She just got done kind of scolding me today about me telling me that I tell myself I need to be working harder and faster. Totally agree with you, Justin. Totally agree with you.
We were escorted to the yacht club Top Sail Lounge and Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge. Talk about spectacular. Talk about spectacular. There is a beautiful bar area, seating, plenty of lounge seating, piano right in the middle. I bet that piano is going to be really nice at night before dinner.
Yeah, for those of you who've come in late or or if maybe I didn't do a really good job explaining at the beginning, what Steph just said is how I typically work. I don't usually hunt and peck for clips. What I'll usually do is I'll go through the entire library of shots for the day. Like this is day one. These are all day one shots. So I have an idea of the story I want to tell and where we're going to go. So obviously today we're going all the way from Orlando to dinner at the ship. So there's all these shots in between. So what I'll typically do is I'll go, okay, I'll look for the meaty parts of the shot. You know, basically I'm trimming all the shots ahead of time. So I'll find like this one area here and I'll mark my ins and mark my outs. And then I'll just drop it into the timeline like so. And I'll do the same for like the next 30 or 40 clips until I've got, you know, enough for that section that I think can tell the story. And then I start trimming and putting it to music. And that's where I get my clips from. I'm not typically looking for the next shot and then looking for the next shot and then looking for the next shot. That usually takes me too long. But you can edit that way. There's no wrong way to edit as long as the end story is what you're happy with and you've conveyed the proper message to your clients or your customers or your viewers. Yeah, it really doesn't matter how you got there. And if you have any questions, let me know. Please hit us up with all the questions that you can.
Middle. I bet that piano is going to be really nice at night.
All right, let's see.
We were escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge, and take a look at this lounge. Talk about spectacular. And take a look at this lounge. Talk about spectacular. There is a beautiful bar area, plenty of lounge seating, and a piano right in the middle. I bet that piano is going to be really nice at night before dinner. Above the lounge is the Yacht Club restaurant. I love how the restaurant is open to the lounge below. The sea views up there are going... You may be wondering, what exactly is the Yacht Club? And right above the lounge is the Yacht Club restaurant. I love how the restaurant is open to the lounge below. The sea views up there are going to be wonderful.
Mrs. Sam K just asked, do you do more editing on ship tour days than regular days? Yes, ship tour day is, until we get to the vlog side of it, which pretty sure Steph can correct me, I don't think we're going to do vlogging and ship tour days as the same video anymore. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, Steph, go ahead and slap my hand for saying that. But ship tour days are extremely technical because it's see it and say it from the very top of the ship to the very bottom of the ship. So like Symphony, for example, took 6 to 8 hours to shoot. It took 3 or 4 days to edit because it's just... And we don't shoot the ships in sequence because of the time of day, and we want to make sure, like, when we shoot the pool, there's nobody in the pool or whatever. So we shoot the ship out of sequence, and then we take really, really detailed notes, and Stephanie leaves messages for me on camera. Let's see if I can find some of these notes here real quick. Maybe not. Of course, I don't happen to have any on me right this second. But anyway, Stephanie leaves me detailed notes on what belongs in what deck, and, oh yeah, by the way, we shot the other half of deck 3 after deck 7 or whatever. It gets very, very technical. Yeah, Wayne, I'd probably take too long, especially now that I'm sick. But we try to put as much effort into it as possible. We have a lot of friends who are fellow filmmakers, and we both work with a lot of people who we admire director-wise and editor-wise. So they kind of keep us at a level where we wouldn't feel comfortable releasing any other way. So yeah, it is a labor of love, but it's just kind of thing that this is our baby, and we really, really enjoy working on it. So. But yeah, this is absolutely by far a very technical gig, especially when you go to the ship tours. And yes, like Stephanie just said, I'm going to reiterate, if you're not reading the chat, other companies have asked us for VO only based ship tours as well. So it's not like we just said, we're no longer going to do stuff on camera. She's always going to be on camera for certain things. But we have been approached by huge companies to do ship tours of their brand new ships, but they want it VO only. They don't want to host. So. And I'm trying the BTS stuff too. Right now, it's a little emotional because on Sean and Steph BTS, we're on episode 13, and that's when I was diagnosed with cancer. So that's a hard episode to edit. Sorry, I was just talking to my producer there. She's not in my room. She's back there. Oh, thanks, Cindy. This year was going to be crazy. Between COVID and me coming down with cancer, things have changed dramatically. But we had, we were I want to say it was in February, we were approached by like 3 or 4 different companies. We were going to do a Morella cruise. We were going to do a cruise that Jane just did in the Great Lakes. We were going to do all kinds of stuff. We're getting left and right offers. It's kind of sad, kind of heartbreaking to know that none of that's happening now. So I hope this was fun for everybody. I just want to show you a quick glimpse of how we edit the videos and stuff. Don't want to bore anybody or take any take people down too technical of a road. But if you are a YouTuber or if you run a business and you want to make videos, it's very easy to do so. You can also hire me if you're interested. If you want a video cut by yours truly, I work nonstop, 24 hours a day. I work for people all day long. I work for big companies, small companies, you name it. So if there's something that you have that you would like, or if you want a Sean Mullen remix of your vlog, let me know and we will work something out. But so that's where I'm at so far. Yeah. So if you have any other questions, let me know. But this is. So I've got one of my many bionic upgrades is going crazy right now. So Stephanie is deprogramming my Iron Man suit as we speak. Oh, it's awesome to have you here, Justin. It's so cool. I'm sure you have many, many better things to do, but we really appreciate you hanging out. You're awesome. So anyway, what I'm going to have to do next is I'm going to have to go through, and I've listened to all the things that Stephanie says, and I have to go through and start looking for B-roll. So Cindy's talking about, she says she loves the filters that Steph uses sometimes on Snapchat at the end of the night and recaps. Do you just import them into Premiere? Yeah, they export just as MP4 files, and we bring them right in vertical. And the funny thing is, I created a plugin, or a quick preset, I should say. I don't know if I have any vertical video in here. But when you notice that her Snapchat is vertical, but it's got the bars and stuff behind it, I created a quick preset that automatically turns her vertical into horizontal. So, but yeah, we bring it right into Premiere and edit it just like regular footage. What's that? I got you fixed. Oh, thanks. My tech support team just fixed my bionic upgrades. Sorry. Oh, Ella, tell your boss we're sorry. So where I'm at in the edit now is I would definitely have to go back through now that I'm inside the yacht club, and Stephanie's.
The yacht club restaurant.
Stephanie talks about the restaurant, so I have to find some restaurant shots, and then right here she says something like, "What is the yacht club?"
You may be wondering, what exactly is the yacht club? Well,
so from here I'd go through all of our footage and gather as much B-roll and footage of the yacht club, and then every time Stephanie says something, I'll show it. And that will be a segment, but I actually don't have any of that footage prepped because I didn't expect to go this far into the edit with you all. So yeah, that's basically it. So I cannot thank you all enough. I'll just show you what we created real quick, but I can't thank you all enough for spending time with me. And if you liked technical stuff like this, let me know. We're planning on doing some gear reviews, showing you how we do and shoot things, showing you how we set up our live streams, things like that. Like, you know, there's lots of tech stuff, lenses, cameras, reasons why we do what we do, the kind of gear that we use, you name it.
Hi friends, Sean and Steph here. Over the last 3 seasons, we've spent more than 180 days at sea and have traveled all over the world. And this week is a real treat. A week of amazing food, fantastic drinks, unrivaled service, and all the fun you can imagine in the yacht club on board the spectacular MSC Seaside. But before we board, we have to make our way from Orlando to Miami. It's time to add those ship tags and pack it on up. On this trip, we are driving.
That stuff has to happen,
Even though
Steph.
it's a bit soggy at times, you can't dampen our spirit because we can't wait to see the seaside. And look, 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 look. Oh my gosh, there they are. We always start getting butterflies when the ships come into view. It's so exciting driving through the Port Miami tunnel because when you pop out on the other side, the ships are right in front of you. Checking into the yacht club is really easy. There is a tent set up outside the terminal. You walk up, tell the attendant your stateroom number, fill out a few forms, and then they even guide you through a private security line. This is luxury cruising at its finest. Once through security, we were taken to the yacht club waiting area. Here we will get our ship cards, but before we get our cards, it's time for some ship snacks. So many choices. I'll take one of everything, please. Why not? Cheers to the best week ever. How awesome is this lounge? Never has waiting been so cool. The yacht club is true luxury, start to finish. It is.
Check in with
So,
security was what, 30 seconds maybe?
so your butt. Let's go. But the fun hasn't even started yet. Let's get moving and get ourselves on the Seaside. Here we go, up the gangway, ready for a week of fun. Next stop, the Yacht Club.
We're on board.
We're here. Let's keep going.
This top sail lounge is next.
We were escorted to the Yacht Club Top Sail Lounge and take a look at this lounge. Talk about spectacular. There is a beautiful bar area, plenty of lounge seating, and a piano right in the middle. I bet that piano is going to be really nice at night before dinner.
So that's where we're at. And to recap, there's a couple questions in the chat. To recap, what I do with every edit, no matter where I start, sometimes I don't start at the beginning because I get bored, or sometimes I have an idea for a section that's going to be somewhere else. I look at this as like a quilt. It all makes sense when it's put together, but I always work on each section of the quilt separately. So what I do, the very first thing I do is I bring in my footage, my B-roll, my A-roll, everything. So this right here, I organize it by day. So this is my GH5 feed for day one. And these are all the clips. And I usually have gone through every single clip to make sure I know what I want. And what I'll do is I'll just scroll down here way late in the timeline here. And I'll just start going like this, like, oh yeah, okay, so that looks cool. Maybe that section looks cool, drop that down. And let's see this, oh yeah, maybe I'll use that, right? I'm not editing, I'm just grabbing. So, think of this as like food prep. I'm chopping the veggies right now, right? So I'm just going through and I'm just chopping the veggies and just grabbing the bits and the chunks that I think would be valuable to me later in the future, right? And so I just keep doing that, just drag and just go through every clip. It doesn't matter if you're going to use the clip or not. Maybe you won't use it. That's irrelevant. And then when I get enough of those clips and I have an idea of the story I want to tell, or if I'm going from here to the ship and I've got enough clips, then what I'll do is I'll find a track that I like, and you saw the tracks that we picked, and then I'll just start trimming to the tracks. Right? And if there's a VO, I'll put the VO in as well. But that's basically just how it is. You just go through and you take all your big chunks out, and just think of it as like working with clay. You just take out the big chunks that you're going to work with, and then you slowly start massaging over and over again. And you do not have to work from beginning to end. And if a track is 3 minutes long, the video does not have to be 3 minutes long. Everything's under your control. And so you can be as tight or as loose with the edits as you want. But that's exactly how we've produced every single video that we've ever done for Sean and Steph. Yeah, sorry, Justin. Yeah, chopping the veggies. That's exactly what it is. You just prep. I look at video like food prep. You've got all your ingredients. So then you prep all your ingredients. Then you throw it down on the timeline, which could be considered like your stove or your plate or whatever. And then you just start cooking. And for me, I like it hot and fast. That's just how I edit. Some people like slow. Some people they like to be drawn out. Some people are VO only. So finding your voice is important, but the most important concept is figuring out what exactly the story it is that you're wanting to tell. That's it. I love the Slap Chop song. Love the Slap Chop song. I'm watching this crazy chat going on now. For everyone talking about being VIPs, I think the minimum is what patron decides. I think it's $1. I think if you want to be a Shaun and Steph VIP, it can cost you as little as $1. So thank you for asking about that. That's very kind of you. So I hope this was helpful to someone. For those of you who want to edit your own stuff, who are editing your own stuff, or who want to edit your stuff for maybe for your business or whatever, it's not scary. It's not tough. Just organization. I put everything in bins. All of my music is in bins. All of my B-roll and A-roll are in bins, and then I shoot everything in slow motion, and then I speed it up if I need it to be real time, and that's about it. No, we don't do Miss Sam K. I don't know who you're referring to, but we don't have any tiers. We decided not to do any tiers. We're not looking to. I don't know what to say about that. We weren't looking to make tiers at the time. We just, if you wanted to help us out, any amount would be fine. That's how we were looking at it. Yeah, we have a Zoom call coming up. Justin, I'm going to put that on the patron group to help kind of organize and figure it out, because starting tomorrow, we're back in Jacksonville and things get a little bit crazy. But let's definitely do the Zoom call. And of course, it was awesome. We had the patrons help us set up our live stream that we did on Sunday. So that was really cool. They all came in on Saturday and helped us dial in Steph's new code, which you can see here as well. This whole new look for Shaun and Steph BTS Live. Stephanie came up with all of this. She's an amazing designer. But if you all like this, we have a lot more tutorials coming up. Maybe Steph's going to do some animation and some motion graphics tutorials. We might do some software-based tutorials. Definitely going to do some camera and hardware-based stuff. The kinds of bags that we use, the drives that we use, things like that, how we go live. There's all kinds of stuff coming up. So I hope you liked it all. But I think that's it for us. Does Stephanie plans to continue with her animated series? She absolutely does. She absolutely does. We were just so busy, and Stephanie got booked on this huge animation project, and but now that that project is complete, she can go back to doing her animated series, and I can't wait because some of the new episodes are hilarious. I'm sorry that if I made someone feel overwhelmed. I apologize. I tried to go slow, but maybe I didn't go slow enough. I promise you it's not hard, though. It's literally one shot at a time. That's it. Just one. I hate to use this example, but how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Oh, thank you for all your prayers and whatnot. I appreciate that. Tomorrow's chemo number 4. Chemo number 4. Thank you all so much for joining us. I think we're going to call it. I don't know how long we've been going, but I feel like I've taken up a lot of your time. And, well, I think that the next time if I come back with an edit, it'll be something else, something different, you know, if you have any questions. But truly, if you are a, I don't know how much, yeah, Stephanie does 2D rigging for sure. And one of my closest friends does 3D rigging. But if anyone out there is interested in having their business videos edited, or if you're looking for advice on vlogging or whatever, hit us up. We're always happy to talk to people and help people out. I would honestly start, if you're going to do something like this, I would start with a music montage. Just find a 1 or 2 minute track and cut your vacation video down to a 1 or 2 minute video. And once you get the feel for that, expand on it. Maybe do a day video, or maybe do a multi-day video, you know. But I think just starting and just, oh, thanks. There you go, Justin. Started streaming 100 minutes ago. There you go. So yeah, we have been going for a minute, if you will. But I sincerely appreciate everyone wanting to help us out, everyone watching these videos, everyone who sponsors us. Thank you so much for being there for us during our really troubled times. Today is the first day I can really sit upright without being propped up. I was propped up on the couch during the live chat. Thank you, Cindy. You all are awesome. All right, well, I'm just watching Steph just chat with everybody. Unless I am wrong, I think that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. We'll definitely do more. This was cool. I'm glad you all liked it. And yeah. Well, thank you for everyone for your well wishes. Yeah, we travel to Jacksonville tomorrow, and we get all of our stats tomorrow. So tomorrow's a big day. Big day. Lots of scans and stats tomorrow. We know where everything lives in my universe starting tomorrow, which is great. This was a lot of fun, everybody. Thank you so much. On behalf of Stephanie and myself, Stephanie's in the back. Thank you so much for joining us. And well, I guess that is it. We love you all. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll do this again for sure.